Okay, so the question is, what is the difference between your partnership with the Messiah and your partnership with other disciples? Okay, very simply, the simple answer would be he is the high priest, okay, and you are priests, just priests beneath him, that kind of thing. So it's it's hierarchical, it's higher grade, but you have the added problem. What is the Messiah? Okay, we haven't answered that question yet. What is the Messiah? What is Yeshua? Another way to say it. What is Jesus? Okay, that is a problematic question. It's a very problematic question. It is. I'll use my typical answer. Maybe God will give me a better answer than this, a better metaphor than this. And if God gives you one, you can interrupt me. But it kind of works like this. Imagine that there is a buffet. Okay. And there's a dish here that was reserved, only Moshe did that, only Moses did it. And then there's a dish that only Aaron did. And there's a dish that only David did. Then there's a dish the priests do. And then there's all these different jobs. Then there's a dish that for the temple. Then there's a dish for the inner temple, like the Holy of Holies. Then there's a dish, okay, all this kind of stuff. I want you to imagine that part of what the Messiah does is he's like, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take all of it. Oh, that stuff Moshe did, I'll do that now. That stuff the temple did, I'll do that now. I'm taking all of it. Does that make sense? So the Messiah has an enormous an enormous task in front of him to fulfill all these roles. Let me say another one, which is jarring. Jarring. Oh, the thing the local Yahweh did, I'll do that. He takes that too. Okay. The thing Sacred Space and Temple did, I'll take that. Okay, this is, if you used fancy term like ontology, which is the nature of being, ontologically the Messiah is a very confusing being. Okay, very confusing being. We're not going to use that fancy term. We're just going to talk about functions for now. And let's address some questions. The first question I'll start with, because these are subsets of the question, what is the difference between your partnership with the Messiah and your partnership with other disciples? This will help us. We're asking the question, what is the Messiah? And what is the Messiah? Well, first, what's your question again, little lady? Can you say it? Why do we always... Yeah, why do we always have to follow Yeshua? Why do we always have to follow Yeshua? There's a must there. Why must we always follow Yeshua? The first time she said have to. Why must we always follow Yeshua? Okay. And the answer is going to be everything a human should be and do. Messiah's like, I'll take that. Okay, he does that. So he is we literally have to follow him in order to survive, to do that which is right, to do that which is good. He's the only one we can follow that leads to perfection, that leads to life. So that kind of answers the must question. As a side note, here's a helpful explanation that will also feed into our partnership with the Messiah and our partnership with other disciples. Are you familiar with the ancient concept of a cornerstone? Okay. Mm-hmm. Mashiach is called a cornerstone throughout the scriptures in Psalm 118. And Daniel 2, he's kind of spoken of as a mountain. There's some correlation to that. That word we use in Isaiah in various places. He has the role to fulfill being a cornerstone. Well, here's something that's interesting about ancient construction. It's a really cool concept. Okay, they didn't have a worldwide systematized mechanism or system of measurement. Like right now, we almost have that, but America is this stupid, powerful holdout with the English system, but the rest of the world's metric system. Okay, we can all agree on what a millimeter is, what a centimeter is, this kind of thing. They didn't have that in ancient times. So if I want to build a structure as massive as a temple, and I want it to be huge and support hundreds and thousands of people interacting with it, and I don't want it to fall on them, how do I ensure that these stones are cut correctly? Well, the cornerstone has multiple functions. Obviously, from the sound of it, it will be in the corner, or a corner, okay? But that's not its only job. Basically, we don't have a unit of measurement. So for every building, we will make a unit of measurement, the cornerstone. It will be perfectly cut. It will have perfect dimensions. And from then on, every other stone that is measured that will be incorporated into the larger structure will be measured against the length, the height, the depth, the width of this cornerstone. We'll polish it. We'll shave it. We'll make it, okay? It has to be just like it. That kind of answers the question, right? Because Messiah is the cornerstone. Ephesians will say he himself is the foundation, but he himself is that, he is the whole foundation, but he is this cornerstone that is this chief work in this process. And we'll all be measured against him. We won't be measured against each other. So that is one way that we have all of us have a unique relationship to the Messiah that we do not have to each other. And that's a very powerful picture that's worth recovering. Again, we're all construction workers, and the thing we're constructing is a temple. Well, we're constructed based on the Messiah. Based on the Messiah. A very powerful concept. The other question, let's see here. Will, your question, could you ask that question again, Gideon?
So you're saying Yahweh is the Messiah. You're saying the Messiah is a man.
A human, yeah.
Yeah, human. And Messiah is Yahweh.
As well, yeah.
But Yahweh doesn't have a form.
Yahweh doesn't have a form. Okay. You're citing, first off, there is nowhere in Scripture that says Yahweh doesn't have a form. There is somewhere in Deuteronomy 4 that precedes the Ten Commandments, okay? And around Deuteronomy, which we'll talk about this, you didn't see a form because the cloud covered Yahweh, the local Yahweh, and obscured your sight of his form in the Exodus. Yahweh does have a form. He purposefully obscures it. This is partly why the second commandment, do not make images and bow down to them. You saw no form. Does not I have no form. You saw no form. Not only this, the cloud itself is a kind of obfuscation. It blocks seeing what he is. He is glorious, a glorious spectacle. Behold, he's a being of light, would be one way to describe him. And these dark storm clouds hide that. But it's not always hidden. In Exodus, Moshe got to see his gav, his back. Okay? And it is still a spectacle and